Welcome to Virtual HorrorCon 2, Dark Ages, Vampire the Masquerade. I am your storyteller this evening, Rick Wheeler, also known as Oops Alsetite. And with me tonight, I have some very fantastic kindred. Some you may recognize from the Gods Can't Save You game we did on January 16th, and a new face or two. Why don't you introduce yourselves, my wonderful players? Starting with top left, we've got Norfie.
Hello, I'm Mark Hugh Anderson, the VP of Marketing for Gehenna Gaming, and I am playing Norfie. I'm very excited to play this character again, and I'm very excited to be with everybody on screen, especially the new face, which I'm very, very excited. I'm going to pass it right on over to you. Faye, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Frankie, otherwise known as Faye the Pagan. I'm the storyteller for BG by Night, and I'll be playing Grove.
Excellent. Moving right on, we have Yahima back with us.
Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia Marie. You guys probably know me as Nellie G from LA by Night, or some other fantastic characters I've been playing all over the place. But yeah, tonight I'm going to be playing Yahima. She is very different from the rest of the group. She is a Borinquen, or a Taino Indian from Puerto Rico, and I am a Tremere. So, woo!
Very good. One of our other faces is the same, but in a different position this time around. Ellie Collins, welcome.
Hi, I am Ellie. I am the storyteller for ATL by Night, and tonight I will be Fia, the Jarskona, and Mariner Gangrel.
Wonderbar. And last but not least, we have our Jarl.
I am Ian, otherwise known as Ravenous Online, and tonight I am reprising my role as Bjarni Odinson, the Jarl of his town, village.
What's the what's
Hold.
Thank you.
I believe it's
My
hold.
hold. Yes.
Very good.
First of all, I do want to say thank you for everybody who's watching. We are still collecting donations for Black Girls Code through our Tiltify. So if you are really, really digging what we're doing, or if you have not quite donated yet this weekend, please go check out that Tiltify. Right now, we are currently at approximately $1,112 all weekend, and maybe let's try to get that number a little bit higher, because it's going to a good cause. It's extremely important to us. It's extremely important to the convention. And if you already have donated, thank you so much. Let's get into it.
So we shall. So yes, we're donating to that wonderful cause. Hopefully we can get it up even higher, because there's some personal bets going on where our friends from Carrying Comfort are going to be jugging a bottle of hot sauce, something like that. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, a whole bottle of hot sauce. Mm-hmm.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, picking up off from where we left off. 50 years have passed since Bjarni and the other Vikings, including the entire group here, have defeated Father Sebastian in that perverse church of his. The warriors are eventually joined by other clans, people from different holes, because of their victory against that creature that was plaguing the land. The Jarl ended up meeting and falling in love with a warrior from a different clan, new among their ranks, a renowned warrior in raids. He eventually was married and welcomed her into the blood. The potent vitae between them. Through the rumors among the camp, they say that she is blessed by the Norse god of the ocean. However, there is somewhat of a fog hanging over the hold this evening. It's a tense moment because it's the year 1066, and a very important battle is happening overseas that our warriors could not take part of. The Norwegian king, Haraldr, makes one last attempt to claim a major victory in England, which may pave the way for Nordic warriors once again to flourish, and much is riding on this campaign. We are starting our evening in the longhouse of Bjarni Odinson. We're currently in the center. Norfi and Kara, the Melkivian, are sitting legs crossed, holding each other, awaiting a vision to come to them for news, omens, portents, and signs as to what will befall what could be the last great king of the Nordic people.
I'm going to try my best to get into the right mindset. Most of the time, it takes battle, pain, or at least the illusion of pain to get myself into this mode. And at the moment right now, I am particularly stressed. I am particularly calmed. But thankfully, I'm able to put myself in a position of remembering what it's like in beautiful battle, and hopefully to get a glimpse of my father, Loki, or at the very least, the lesser god Odin.
And as you wait for that vision, who else joins the longhouse?
I'm going to wake up and just kind of head out to greet everyone. Do I need to make a rouse check for waking up?
You shall. Actually, you should all give me one rouse check, except for
That's
Grow.
Failure, I get hungrier.
Okay.
I passed.
Yes, I'm also very hungry.
I also passed.
Excellent.
Just going to walk out and. Good morning, Norfi.
Good morning, my Yoskana.
You seem like something's on your mind.
That's the problem. Nothing is on my mind. I'm
You're a
having a hard
Malkavian
time.
and everything's on your mind.
That is true. But I'm finding myself particularly disconnected from the gods. I worry. I worry that their silence for me means something. Maybe their silence from us. Or maybe I've angered them.
Well, we'll have to wait and see then.
We shall. Have you eaten?
I haven't. I could go for some.
We should make that happen.
I'll go out and catch something in a bit.
Let me know if I can help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's everybody else?
Everyone takes their time.
Hmm.
Oftentimes I've noticed that sometimes they like to hide how they awaken.
Hmm.
I like to watch them sometimes. You know, not too closely, but I'm curious how different everybody is.
Better
Yes,
be
you
careful.
always seem to come in at the wrong time, Norfi, huh?
So it seems, Yaima. Blessings of the night.
Yes, the blessings.
He was just telling us here how he likes to watch us sleep.
That is a very interesting hobby that you have.
Yaima, did you know that you don't stir when you sleep?
No, I did not know that.
Sometimes you could see a flicker or a twitch, but not on you. You are as stiff as a blade. I'm jealous.
Good
I
to
wiggle
know.
around when I sleep.
Oh, remind me not to sleep with you then.
Yes.
How are you two doing?
Am I right? A little peckish, but I'll go out and catch something in a bit.
Would you like some company?
I think that'd be fun.
Well, I'd happy to join you then.
And Bjarni walks into the room right around then. having just risen. No hungrier. Just kind of strolls in, crouches down near kind of a hole in the stone in the cavern, and his raven kind of pops out, alights on his arm.
What's the news, my Jarl?
We shall see. It is early yet.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, what is it that we intend to do today?
Well, I'm going to go hunting and catch some food. Is there anything else we need, Bjarni?
Not yet.
I'm going to perform a blut. Most likely by myself. And perhaps figure out why the gods are so silent this night.
From the camp outside of the Longhouse, a number of people are gasping in shock, and you hear wails and people running about calling for others to come out. Come see, come see the gods.
The hell?
The gods!
Let's go.
Kara also stands up, grabs Norfie, and begins dragging him outside.
I'm coming. He grabs his axe and runs with her.
I take my time. I walk to the wall and grab an axe and a sword. Feed my raven, and then head that way. If it is urgent, the cries will change.
I'm gonna follow the Jarl and grab my bow and arrow, and I'm also moving fairly slowly until he gives me the command to move faster.
I'm going to be running with fervor in hopes that maybe this will be a conflict of some type.
I will be walking directly behind the left shoulder of Bjarni.
And as you exit the longhouse and look into the sky, the dark night with a crescent moon, it's a very cloudless night, is illuminated by a comet, Halley's Comet, in the year 1066. It's fire filling the sky. Everyone wondering if it's a sign, a potent, a wonder, an omen. And Norfie, as you look at it, and Kara looks at it as well. Oh my. She grabs your hand, and you both begin experiencing a vision, possibly sent by your father, Loki.
Kara, do you see?
Kara's eyes roll into the back of her head, and it's as if your two minds are one. You see the last great mortal king of the Vikings fall in battle at the white cliffs of Dover. His body laying on the sands, left there for a day or two. The wolves already circling. In your mind, you see that this is possibly a tear of Odin, a piece of Surtur, Yggdrasil itself burning in flames, perhaps. But the vision changes perspective. Instead of looking at it from below, you see it from above. as if it is a fiery teardrop, not circumambulating the earth, but coming straight down like an arrow onto a leather map made of animal skin that looks like some of the rivers in Germany you and your crew have gone through and raided before. And it lands in the middle of a forest, burning a hole into this leather map until the embers carve out a name, Irminsul. And Kara speaks into your head and begins shaking and convulsing as the words pour into you telepathically. That's a holy pillar, a massive tree that was coming out of the ground. It was one of the sacred pillars that our people worshipped for years, but it was cut down with like the Thunder Oak, Thor's Oak in Geismar by Charlemagne and his men 300 years ago. But it's standing again, and it's thirsty, and it calls to us.
This cannot be.
It calls, and she begins falling into a torpor-like state. You catch her before she hits the ground.
I'm definitely going to catch
Her
Kara
body
before
goes
she...
completely limp.
Yeah, I'm catching Kara, and I will not let her fall. I'm going to bite my wrist and offer a couple of drops of my blood to her.
Her color restores a bit, as if the blush of life was activated when she didn't have it on. But she continues to be in a dreamlike state. However, in your head, you can still hear her speak to you through whispers and thoughts that may or may not be your own.
Kara, you cannot fall like the Yggdrasil. You need to stay strong like the pillar. Arise like the new pillar. But I need you to tell me everything and what you think and where we need to go. It's a place I've seen maybe before once.
Her lips don't move. But in your head, in your mind's eye, you see the map again. And the Elbe River, not far from where your encampment is, goes down through the center of Germany into the Black Forests, or what was once the Black Forests. Many of the pagans who were killed there were replaced, much like most of your Nordic civilization has been replaced by Benedictine monks cutting their way through the woods, making new settlements, destroying sacred groves, building new churches. You see this, her memories, her anger of the situation boil and rise, even though she keeps her composure among the group very often. These things over the years have caused her much pain and turmoil.
But it's a path to peace. And it's a path of victory and ascension.
Ascension. That I like that. She whispers into your head.
Yes, ascension. We are replacing. Our seats are our fathers' and mothers' seats. The seats of the gods are ours. They belong to us. We are the gods. Each one of us. The Anyar. This river we must travel down. We need to go, but you cannot, Kara.
I don't think I can make the trip, but leave me in the longhouse. I should recover in time. We can still speak, brother.
Yes.
From anywhere.
But I'm going to leave Ofnir, and she's going to guard you with her life. We'll put you in the ground, deep in the ground.
so you begin digging a hole with your shield maiden.
How much of that do I witness? Having walked out a little bit after them.
I was verbalizing a lot of it.
Okay.
I wasn't just thinking it. I could not tell myself I need to speak.
And I'll stop you from digging.
Yar, we must put her in the ground.
And I'll
guard
gesture
her.
toward the cavern that is our longhouse, and I say, there is a safe place in there.
Yes, my Jarl.
And I will kneel down and pick her up with one arm and start walking back inside.
Storyteller, quick question: Are we in this village? Is it just? It's not just Einyard. It's also mortals as well.
Correct. However, it's not like a Carthage situation. They know some things about you and the blood, but they don't know what, or they believe that you guys are blessed by Odin himself, which grants you unusual powers.
In this village, are there anybody that seems to be a particular troubling element, upsetting the balance? But someone who steals, or someone who has committed murder, or God forbid worse.
Those who steal die. Those who commit murder die or are exiled, or possibly eaten by Bjarni when he's a bear.
There are fates worse than death.
Knowing Bjarni. However, the troublemakers you're quite fond of because they make you laugh. They have a little bit of your father in them.
Yes.
You do not think that they would cause her harm in any way.
You know that anyone in this village wouldn't dare go against something I said. They respect me too much.
Yes, they do. And I feel we must perform a very powerful blut, a blut of sacrifice. And I am willing to give one of mine, one of the blessed by Loki, because I know how much trouble that they tend to create. I wouldn't dream of taking a daughter of Freya or anybody else who provides value to the village.
You believe that a blood sacrifice is necessary. At
It is
this time.
absolutely necessary.
Tell me your vision.
I've seen a path that leads to a place where the very essence of the great tree is being rebuilt after being destroyed by the Christians. The river that will take us down. We need to go. And Kara is asleep, but she's still in my mind. And we need to go and drop our blood and their blood. And Irminsul.
Is that name familiar to me?
It is. You don't typically have much time for books, but you rely on people who tell stories. Stories and heritage are deeply ingrained in your way of life. And many of them fuel the anger that leads you into battle to successful victory. You know of what happened with St. Boniface chopping down the Thunder Oak. You heard that some of your kind were there, but then vanished, defending it. And you know that these sacrifices by the Holy Roman Empire, slowly encroaching more and more into your lands. It's been wearing on your mind for a long time, and you know the history. But now, it seems one of the things they have destroyed has returned. At the same time that this sign the king that you likely rested the remaining hope for your civilization on has fallen.
This is indeed a good sign. We've been blessed by Odin this evening.
Yes, he's given us a path, and we must get back in our boat.
I agree.
Who do I take? I don't. I need to do this carefully. Kara's life is in the balance, and I want to make sure that I give a willing sacrifice for the Blute.
Simply ask.
Yahima and Fiad, do you go and look for food after you witness this happening?
Yes, seeing that they've got it under control, I'm going to tap Yaima and begin walking towards the water.
I follow.
Yaima,
Yes.
how are you doing with your hunger this evening?
I seem to awaken with a breath of freshness. However, I am always very excited to have some more verte.
Let me catch my lunch, and then we'll see about you.
That sounds wonderful. How can I help you?
I think I've got it. And I'm going to approach the water and look for a very large fish, something in a sizable trout size. And I'm just going to attempt to take out my knife and just grab a fish.
You want to give me a quick roll for farmer, which is animal kin and survival.
Yep. And I have a specialty for sea animals.
Yes, you do.
So that is going to be 4 successes.
That is more than enough. You find a very sizable salmon.
Wonderful. And I'm just going to take it and with my knife crack open around the neck and drink the fish dry of blood and take down 1 hunger.
As you do.
And I am going to, since I did so well on the roll, I'll grab a second fish since I know Yaima is peckish. And I'll just hold on to the fish and pass out my wrist for Yaima, but keeping us a little bit turned from the townspeople.
So I bite in gingerly, and I stay pretty covered too. In fact, I'd probably use a little bit of my pelt to kind of cover what's going on. And feed a little bit from her. I actually rolled a success on mine, but I'm always overzealous when it comes to blood. So yay. I think so. I was at 1 blood. Would that take away 1 dot?
No, you'd have to drain her
No.
completely dry.
I just wanted to make sure. So that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, just a touch, just a touch.
Yeah. Take the edge off.
Yep.
Feeding
Yeah,
feels
and
good.
then I'll drink dry the second fish to maintain my 1 hunger.
And you maintain it perfectly.
Your Skona, I
Mm.
am a little confused as to what was going on with Norfi and his sister. Should we be worried about what is happening?
We only should be worried if they think we should be worried. They have a way of seeing the world that is a bit different. The gods give them different ideas about things, and if Norfi or Kara are concerned, then we have cause for concern. But sometimes we have to let Bjarni make sense of it.
Understood.
Do you find yourself well cared for in this group?
For the most part, yes. There are things that I wish I could explore more, but I don't know the area enough to feel confident to go out on my own. So I stay here and practice my craft and perfect it so that I can protect all of you.
Well, some night we'll make a night of it. We'll go find a local town and tear up the townspeople.
I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, let's head back.
By the time you're back, Norfie, you would have found a sizable place to put her in the longhouse, where she would be safe for the journey.
I would have directed him toward one of the side rooms where there is a bed of furs and where it is safe for his shield maiden to watch over her.
Ofnir, come here.
Yes.
Our sister. My sister. She's not well. And I need you to guard her with your life. You do know what that means.
Yes, it means that I stay here and kick anyone's ass who dares to try and touch her.
And fuck them for trying.
Not literally, I'll stab them fast.
That's okay. If you'd like to fuck them, I don't care. So long as you stop them from killing my sister. For we love her.
We do.
We do. You know, when I come back, and if Kara is still alive, and if she's still okay, and nothing happens to her, that is the last one. That is the last test. Ofnir. This is something that you've been wanting for quite some time now.
Tess.
And I think maybe we can make her your sister.
Have you tried pouring mead down her throat yet?
I did try that, but she's allergic. It's the honey. It makes her cough up blood.
She is cursed by Hela herself. She cannot drink the mead.
It is absolutely awful. I don't know how anybody cannot.
I will watch out for her.
And
You
then
have
you
my
will be
letter.
my sister. My child.
Until you return then.
Yes. Until I return. Norfie will drag Kara in and place her on the bed of furs and tuck her in like a child. Kiss your head. Kara, my sister, I love you. And he will leave and walk out towards the people. The Jarl has an order. He has ordered me a task, and thus he is ordering you a special task. One special you, one of you who is worthy to give themselves and their lives to us as children of gods. You have followed us this far, and you will thus be blessed and ascended into Valhalla. For I make it so, for we are gods. Which one of you will come? Which one of you will come and join my father in Valhalla?
I will come. Very large man stands up, named Gunther.
Gunther, my boy. It's been a very long time. You were so small, and now you're so tall. Come with me.
We are going on a raid.
No, it is a kind of raid, I guess. But I should be honest with you. This is a sacrifice. Gunther, you'll be giving yourself to the great goddess, Kara. The Anyar.
I do not know what this goddess.
Oh, you know, you have seen her multiple times.
The shield maiden who sees.
The shield maiden who sees. And she sees you. And she has blessed you enough to come forward and sacrifice yourself to her.
I don't know.
I will not force you to do this. If you do not want to be ascended into Valhalla, I'm not going to force you. This is a gift.
Hey, I never said anything about not wanting to go to Valhalla.
Well, Gunther, there's only two ways. And so far, it's very peaceful here. There is absolutely no conflict. The only way is today. And I can show you that way because I am a god.
Will it be in battle?
No.
Well, then how else can I join the halls of Odin?
How about this? Would you like to fight a god today?
I would like to fight a god every day.
Well, today, I will fight you.
You honor me. Set the square. Then we will do this.
We will fight in front of my sister. At the foot of her bed. Small quarters.
Lead the way.
Norfia will go into Car's chamber.
Is she sleeping?
Yes, she's very quiet. Let's not wake her.
How are we supposed to not wake her if we're fighting?
Like this, Gunther. And Norfia will take his axe and with a very wide, very obvious swing, go towards Gunther's neck.
It is a surprise attack because he thought you were honorable. And it lands, cleaving into his neck as he chokes and falls to the ground. But on his way down, he goes to strike you. Gunther's mama didn't raise no fool. You want to roll to dodge?
No, I do not want to roll to dodge.
With 2 successes, he strikes you in the lower abdomen for 2 superficial damage. That you have because you are an Einar. Take 1.
And he would take the butt of his axe and hit Gunther square in the head to knock him out with hopes.
He is unconscious from blood loss and bludgeoning.
And I'm going to cut him from the bottom of his chin all the way down his chest to his groin. And I'm going to open him up and spill his blood on the floor below my sister. For this is the blood for the Einar.
I will simply be watching all of this happen from the doorway. And when he is finished, say, "Come now. She will be protected. I think we need to travel tonight."
Yes, my lord.
And I will turn. I will have taken the time that he spent finding the person and all that and putting on my armor, getting ready to leave.
I'm going to follow.
I assume that we're back.
Yes, at this point, you walk back to the camp.
And we see the Jarl like armored up and everything.
Yes. And Norfie probably has some blood on him.
What exactly happened here? Anybody?
I turn and look at Norfie.
Necessary. The blood. We have a trip to go. We have a long way to go. Kara is not going to be coming with us. The Ofnir is going to be guarding her. But we are going to find the Yggdrasil, the pillar.
I lean over to Fia. I don't understand what he is trying to say.
It's all right. I don't entirely understand it either, but I'm just going to follow Bjarni's lead.
Yar can perhaps explain it better than I.
Bjarni, what are we doing? The night has only just begun, but I feel like it's going to be a long one indeed.
We are traveling. We're going to make our way toward this Irminsul. And I'll look at Norfi and say, do you know the way?
I do know. I know it like a map. And Norfi will grab a random skin or take a fur, a pellet or something, flip it on its back, and take a piece of charcoal and immediately start drawing the map that he saw, the path down that river.
All right. I'll look to Fia and Yahima. Are you ready to travel?
Always.
I will need a few minutes to prepare. If you don't mind, if I could grab some items so that we are not caught off guard.
Of course.
I hurry back to wherever I'm staying and grab a whole bunch of things, put it in a bag.
And you do. While this is happening, and that comet fills the sky, and the dreams and visions of Ymir fill the heads of Alcavians all across the web, and the minds of many kindred who wonder what it means, those not even part of your world. Everyone who lives in the night sees this and wonders what it is. Some of the old ones have seen it before, in fact, every 76 years or so, perhaps. But this is an uncommon event that is often the catalyst for good things or bad things. But in this case, a kindred who has not seen the sky in over 300 years stirs beneath the earth, begins to awaken as if from a dream, and grow. You feel yourself being pushed through the earth as you were underground for a very long time. Still unconscious, still in torpor. You suddenly feel the night's air on your skin, no longer surrounded by dirt. You are above ground, and the branch from the tree, Irminsul, pulls itself out of your chest as you awaken from torpor, not knowing the year or the age. Looking around, this is unfamiliar to you. The last place you were was at the Thunder Oak. But when Adelaide, your Mala, your sire, had you inscribe what she did on the floor of the cavern to escape that persecution as the tree was cut down, as you were all overwhelmed, it saved you and dragged you countless miles underground through the stones and the years to another sacred place. You don't know what to do. But you wait. Or what is it you're thinking? What is it you're feeling? What is it you'd like to do?
So I am in a completely different area than where I was before. So nothing around me looks familiar whatsoever, correct?
Only the large pillar-like trunk sticking out of the ground. It's almost like Thor's Oak. It's not the same. You were there for a number of years, and it was your home. It was where you worshipped. You don't know if it's gone. You don't know if Adelaide survived or Oda.
Am I able to sense kind of the same from the previous tree on this one?
Yes,
Is there a way for me to attempt the ritual that was before?
absolutely.
So going to the tree and providing it, well, this is going to be dangerous, providing it my vitae.
But you may.
Do I need to roll anything?
Yeah, why don't you give me a standard ritual roll of Resolve and Blood Sorcery?
That is 3 successes.
That is enough. Your blood fills your palm of your hands as you put it into the roots of the tree. Its trunk, which was just a trunk before, kind of barren, split down the middle, but massive and impressive nevertheless, begins to sprout branches. Those branches bloom with violet dark flowers that glow in the moonlight. And each one of them bursts with the red pollen that you remember. And animals, boars, pigs, deer, wolves, come from the dark forest toward the center of the tree, docile and waiting for command, instruction, or to feed those who have nourished nature in the way you just have.
So speaking of that, what would my hunger be at this point?
You are absolutely ravenous. But you are also in torpor. I would say it's probably at a 4. And that you would take the time going animal to animal until you were just right. If you don't mind, we'll cut back to our other Vikings as they find their way to Irminsul. Back in the camp, assuming you're boarding the longship for the River Elbe.
I've already pushed it off the shore into the water myself, and I'm waiting for the rest of my crew.
I'm already in the boat, sitting about midway to where my hand can dip into the water.
I'm following right behind her. I do a very distinct whistle that sounds cool, and you can see like a little white bird actually kind of sit on my shoulder as I climb in with my bag and my I look pretty clunky with everything with a cute little bird like sitting on top of my shoulder. So I make my way into the boat as quickly as I can.
I will hold out a hand and help you step in if you need it.
Thank you, Jarl. Appreciate it.
Yahima, as you're going through your things, you find that there is something you haven't looked at in a number of years, and it's a bloodstone that you had made as A4 had left the camp. giving you a sack, almost like a wine sack, of a portion of his vitae. He knew that the people of this land regard sorcery dangerously, especially those of his blood. However, the blood of the Zameets is often enough to ward off one or another. In fact, as Zameets embrace each other, they often give each other the kiss and bite, tasting to see if that other person is of Zameet's blood and not an imposter. That's how paranoid, how jealous they are. Giving you the sack of vitae was meant as a means of protection. And after he had left for the south for his own reasons, you had made a bloodstone of it. You see it in your bag of things. For the first time in a number of years,
I kind of hold it up and warm it with my hands a little bit. And I'm just gonna kind of like kiss my hand and kind of put it back into the bag, because I believe at this point the bloodstone probably would have worn off by now, so I wouldn't be able to like locate him.
perhaps.
But still a memento that really like that was her person, her person that she connected with, so it's hard to have lost one.
Norfi will jump through the side of the boat with just an axe. Yaima,
Yes.
Mobius, your goddess of death.
Mm-hmm.
He has blessed us tonight.
I see.
Or she. I get confused.
That is okay. They appear to you as you wish.
Well, tonight, he appeared as a man, dying willingly. For us.
Interesting. And how did he die?
I killed him.
You killed him.
Yes, he came in the shape of a man, willing to sacrifice himself to Kara and us as gods. And I immediately thought of Mobius, for he was big and strong. And your god and goddess of death allowed this to happen.
Yes. Well, I am happy that we are blessed tonight, as we are probably going to need it going down the water here.
Yes, I think so. Are you afraid?
I am never afraid.
On that note, is the crew assembled? Then I push the boat out into the water and then leap into it.
Do you need me to scout ahead?
Not yet. I know these
All right.
waters well. And after a moment, my raven will circle down and land on my shoulder as we row.
Yeah. There. I just want to get an understanding of the rowing of this ship, real quick.
Mhm.
Is down in the bellows we sit?
No,
and
it's
kind of
it's a standard long boat. It's
standalone boat. Okay.
So they sit on the top. It's almost like a massive canoe that's a little bit
Yep.
flat, that curves up on each side, and everyone in a row has an oar, or even a stick that pushes off of the bottom of a riverbed.
which is how
Yeah.
I am navigating it currently by myself, because we are in shallow waters, and there is a sail.
And so the crew makes their way to the location of Irminsul down the River Elbe, as foreseen by the vision, gliding silently on the water like an arrow towards its target. Fieda, being so tied in with the water, with the ocean, there's something unusual about the currents here. There's less animal life and fish life the closer you get to Irminsul.
How deep is the water?
About 20 feet.
Bjarni, I'm not liking this.
Why?
It's not enough fish.
I am
River's
going.
not flowing right.
I'm going to speak to my raven for a moment.
And the moment you look up, it senses and lands on the boat near you, knowing better than to take up space in your arm when you are busy navigating.
And I'll simply tell it to fly ahead, see if anything seems out of the unnatural, and return to me quickly.
It flies ahead. It takes a little while to come back.
I stop pushing. The speed at which I've been pushing since we left with my 5 strength is probably going to keep us moving forward, but
It is.
I will stop pushing us ahead and simply let the oar that I'm using, the pole, trail in the water.
The number of fish in the area begins to increase dramatically as you are nearing the destination on the map of Norfie. Your raven comes back. A strange red pollen is on its feathers.
I will run my hand down it and then smell.
It's an unusual combination of pollen from when you smelled heather, lilies as a boy in the fields, and vitae.
Yahima. And I'll just extend my hand, which is covered in this pollen, and Vitae, this smells of blood.
I so I wipe his hand clean. I start to linger it around. And I put it to the bird. And I let the bird go, and as that happens, Yaima's eyes turn white, and she basically kind of like slumps down, and I'm going to use...
Eyes of the Nighthawk.
Thank you! Had to look in my book.
It could even be Night Raven. It's been so long since I've seen that.
Definitely Nighthawk, though. You are correct.
Cool.
Well done. Yeah, so I'm going to use that and basically track what was smelled and find out that location and stuff like that and see
Sure.
what I need to do there.
You don't even need to roll for it. As soon as you subsume the mind of your bird, it's almost like you see it in the air everywhere. But there are currents of it as if there is a stream that is still slowly dispersing in all manners of directions. However, it has an epicenter. And as you fly closer to it, in a clearing, this grove, there is a massive tree that seems to be growing very slowly, but it's noticeable, which should not be possible. And as you look at the clearing a little more, you see a single kindred with white hair and Nordic face paint, which is not uncommon for this area, but typically there's more than one. And dozens of animals of the forest surrounding the tree as if in adoration.
Okay. So I'm going to fly back to the boat and like reconnect again.
What'd you find?
Is a tree that is full of this this vitae, but from the tree, and there is a white hair man with painting much like ours, but not the same. And all of the animals around them as if they were worshipping him.
Hmm.
I will look to Fia, Norfi, Yaima. Approach quietly. And then I am going to I'm going to use Metamorphosis. I'm going to make a rouse check. And I am going to shift into a large raven myself. And just leap into the air. And I grow hungrier.
Ooh, dangerous.
I am going to stay in this form for now. Just leave my hood down and walk with purpose, but slowly.
Of course.
I would like to be invisible and silent. I'd like to do a rouse check for unseen passage.
Okay.
And Norfi is very hungry. And I would also like to use Silence of Death if I can.
Yes.
And approach.
You all approach the tree in different ways. But when you get there, Grow, what are you doing?
So I would be, after feeding from the animals, just trying to get a good look of my surroundings, trying to figure out where I am, how long I've been here, wrap my head around all of this.
Walking up to the tree, how soon would I spot Grow?
If you can see the tree, you can see Grow. You see a woman in the moonlight with her long white hair. She has the uniform almost of a shield maiden. However, there are almost priestess druidic adaptations to it, as if part of that culture meant something to her, but not enough to throw away a part of her history.
I'm going to walk right up to her.
Grow, you see a stunning shield maiden approach you from the forest tree line.
Hello.
Hello, Shield Maiden.
Hello. You might find this a odd question. Felt like I was supposed to come to this tree. Just a bit of a strange feeling inside, really. I wanted to just come see it for myself. What can you tell me about this tree? I'm terribly sorry. My name is Fia. What's yours?
Grow.
Grow.
I apologize. Where are we? Do you know where we are?
In a manner of sorts. And I'm going to tell her the general location where we are. Did you wander here too?
I was brought here by the tree, so I don't see you saying that you were called here as odd at all.
Ah, so it seems. If this may be a forward question, feel free to tell me to stop. You're up rather late, and you wandered here. I wonder if we might be of, we'll call it similar blood.
It is possible.
Good. Get that unpleasantry out of the way. Now neither of us is in concern of being the other's dinner. Do you know anything of this tree?
I was at a tree similar to this, but this isn't the same tree. And this isn't the same area. I don't believe this is even the same time. I do apologize. I've been asleep for a very long time.
I understand that is a risk of our kind. If you don't mind, I actually was here with some friends and my husband, and I feel like they would like to get to know you as well, if you don't think that too much of an ambush.
I appreciate the honesty.
When she says that, I fly down and land on Fia's shoulder.
Speak of the devil.
For the record, Yaima climbed up a tree, a nearby tree, not the big one, but a nearby tree. Basically has her arrow knocked, just in case it was a bad situation.
And Norfi would have climbed up the big tree.
Okay. And she's just gonna reach up and scritch the raven a bit. This is Gro. She is a friend, and like us.
The head just cocks to the side.
Forgive me talking to wildlife. This would be my husband.
I often find myself talking to wildlife, so that's fine. You said there were others, however?
Yes, 2 others with us. Traveling companions.
On that note, you don't even hear Yaima jump. I'm going to use Cat's Grace. I like put the arrow away, and you see Yaima taking out a flower and just eating it.
Ah, there's one. The other, I'm sure he's running around here somewhere. Norfi, if you could please.
Norfi will take a bone rune out of his pockets.
Uh-oh.
Norfi, you have climbed the big tree.
I have climbed the big tree. And something tells me I might regret this.
As you're sitting in the big tree, you likely went from one tree to this tree. Right.
Yes.
As you get closer to the center of its mast, the bark moves, and it's almost as if another branch is coming out, but its hand looks too human, and it grabs you with impossible strength and throws you to the ground.
I imagine that this would probably be the way in which Norfi would have introduced himself
As
to
you
our new
fall
friend.
flat on your ass of the forest floor.
Do I take any damage?
Not enough.
Does
For a
him
kindred.
falling out of the tree and hitting the ground break unseen passage?
Yes.
The crow throws back its head like it's laughing. Or the raven, I'm sorry. Wrong corded. Which is like, and then takes off of Fia's shoulder, and then as it flies over your head, Crow, like 10 feet past, I'm going to shift back and just hit the ground. Land.
I thought you were going to poop on my head. Thanks for not doing that.
Next time.
No, I'll shift
Next
into a
time on
bear
Gehenna
first.
Gaming.
I'll shift into a bear first. And I'm going to walk over and just look down at you and look up at the tree.
I thought it was the footing. I lost my footing.
I apologize, Gro. Don't mind him.
And I will just reach down and grab you by... Are you wearing armor? Or
Probably more leather.
just
Armor.
by like the back of the leather shirt and pull you to your feet?
Yes, it is a pleasure to meet a hopeful new friend. We are gods.
You were gods.
Yes, and I presume.
Let him have it.
Who are you? What are you? If you don't mind me being so presumptuous. Ask.
As I said before, I am Grow. I used to tend to the tree, but it's a little bit different than this one. I assume you are all of the blood then.
Of the blood, yes. The Einyar, yes. As you are as well, and this tree could probably also use some tending. So we are all Einyar, and we are all gods. That means that you are also a god. So it is a pleasure to meet a god.
He has a way with words.
I've noticed.
When you say
Yes, Yahima.
I was just gonna ask if I can go investigate the tree while this is kind of happening silently.
Yes, you may. Absolutely.
Please do.
Fia is so glad.
Just silently while everyone's kind of doing the thing, you kind of see her like sniffing the ground and kind of
Sure.
like leading up to the tree, not touching the tree, not trying to offend the tree or Grow,
the tree.
but just kind of like understanding using all of her senses. I also have quite a few dots in occult.
You do. User's choice. You can do intelligence, and you can use your occult and blood magic specialty if you'd like,
Let's do it.
because that's probably going to be the most fruitful for you.
Where you said intelligence.
And occult with your specialty.
Sweet.
When you say a different tree,
4 successes.
do you mean Thor's oak?
What do you know of Thor's Oak?
I'll let you go address her successes before I answer that question.
Okay. This tree is more than a natural tree. It has traces of blood magic, not only worked upon it, but within it. It has a significant amount of vitae inside.
Interesting.
And the more you think about it, and the more you walk around the tree, looking at it, inspecting it, a woman walks out, almost from a melding with the earth, except it's from within the tree. And as she looks at you, she's dressed a little bit like Grow. And if Grow were to catch her attention, Grow would recognize it as Oda, not Adelaide, your teacher and master, but instead your old friend who was a scout among you, who didn't take those lessons very seriously until you were attacked. As it works through your mind, Grow, you realize she got away, but she's been through time the hard way. And it looks as though she's taken up your mentor's old teachings.
So that definitely would catch Grow's attention. I'm going to shift to her. Oda, my friend, what happened?
We fell. Our people fell. Gunther and I got the people to that village safely when the bishop attacked. He cut down the tree. Adelaide fell. And I returned. And Gunther did not. And here I am, tending to a different tree. This one too fell, but with what she taught us, I was able to bring it back. However, I don't keep it in its full form. It attracts too much attention. I don't want them coming and doing damage to it again. So for the longest time, I left it as it was. Apparently, what she taught you before she fell saved your life and dragged you here through the earth. But it kept you safe. Why now? I don't know. Who are your friends?
I am Yaima. This is a very interesting thing to see a person come out of a tree.
It's not every day. For most. It's a pleasure to meet you, Yahima. You have an eye for things.
Yes, I enjoy the spiritual and magical. Is that how you say it? Magic?
Nature,
Yes,
magic, spirits.
I can see how things are put together in different ways. But I am with my Jarl.
I'll approach.
Look over like, hey.
I will approach them.
I'll approach as well, staying behind him, but staying more on whichever side of him is closer to Yaima.
I am
Pleasure.
Jarl Bjarni Odin's son. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Enemy of the Holy Roman Empire. Is a friend of mine. Jarl
And
Odinson,
mine.
you bless me.
And I'll look up at the tree. Tell me what you know. How we may avenge this wrong.
Grow, this may be painful for you to hear, but after they cut down our sacred tree, that was filled with the blood of you, me, Gunther, and Adelaide, they took its wood and built a profane chapel. Even now, the wood of this tree is very much like the blood of our people. Though cut down, it's still alive. It walks between life and death as we do. And it sits in torment in a chapel, while those who cut it down whisper vespers to their god.
How could they do this to Yggdrasil? They've been doing this for so long. Yggdrasil grows back, but you performed a miracle.
It's the way of our blood. It may be a miracle to some, but it is our tradition. It is a cycle that we take and we give back. And perhaps we are more in tune with nature than that of mortal man. But we honor the gods when we do so.
Will you honor us? And a vision is much different in seeing it in full form. And its power is unmistakable. I seem to have angered it, or you. And for that, I would like to offer my apologies. If I have disrespected Yggdrasil, this was not my intention.
It simply did not know who you are. Apology accepted.
I would have to have my father introduce us. But he knows my father well.
Tell me. It is important that we protect this place, but the best way to do that is to push those who wish it harm as far away as possible. Will you help us? I will look at Grow as well.
After what happened last time, I think that's probably the best decision.
I will help you in the way I can, but I cannot leave this grove. I can only go so far from the tree, as I have sacrificed myself to it and it to me. We are almost as one. Its roots can only go so far before I become faint myself. But I can see things from far away that many others can't, and pull information from the dead in a way that you may find useful.
Pull information from the dead. So first we kill the Christians, and then we get the information. I like the sound of that.
They have already died. Not the ones you're after, but others. Their forefathers, their forebears. Everyone lies in the ground. The earth, it takes it all back.
Then they can tell us where to go.
And she puts her hand into the soil, and vines come up and touch her very gently, but go into her skin. And after a while, it takes about 30 minutes, a number of other bodies come up to the soil the way that Gro did when she came out of torpor. In various stages of decay, they begin to sprout mushrooms that glow almost like the violet flowers on the tree.
I grabbed the mushrooms.
You grab the mushrooms. Study that. Early science here. And as they turn into mushrooms and fall to the floor, she does pick them up one by one, and she consumes them, one from each body, and has information and insight from it as she communes with nature. But she looks at Bjarni. Says that king is dead, isn't he?
Yes. But there are more to replace him.
The bishop responsible for much of this pain. His name is Sebastian.
No. Fuck.
He lives still and resides. He is of an order. And he's in a castle called Meersburg, located on a lake called Obersee in the south. They're responsible for the pain of many. He is but one with that name. There seem to be many.
Then we go kill him.
And you are God-touched, maiden. You've been blessed by Njord, our god of the sea, haven't you?
You might say that.
Your skills and your blood are different. Be wary of who you use them in front of.
Always am.
It is our differences that make us stronger and better. It is the differences in which we celebrate. It is the differences which we push right in front of their faces.
And you see the world very differently, don't you, Norfi?
Yes.
Do you seek to make others see things the way you do?
He
The ones closest to me.
offers us guidance when we need it. But, and I will look at Grow. We will need to leave here. That is quite a distance to travel at night. Will you accompany us?
Ro will kind of look at Oda for a moment and just nod. I think it's the best. Yes, I will go.
I wish you the best of luck. She looks at Yahima for a minute, says, "May I commune with you privately?"
Yes, but of course.
And she walks. I'm assuming you follow her.
Mhm.
A few steps away. She says, "You are far from the lands of your home, like a petal on the breeze."
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Will you plant yourself somewhere so you may grow? Or do you seek to wander?
I seek to wander and understand what the world is like outside of my beautiful island.
I've been sensing a new dawn approaching for our kind, of those with the blood magic,
Oh.
those who work magic by their will that are not of our kind, those who use the blood to do magic, and others who use nature like me. There's a new kind of us that may seek to take the answers from you by force. For your magics are different than theirs. Be careful.
Do you know what they go by? Name or calling?
It used to be a house of thaumaturgists.
I see. I will make sure to keep my eyes out.
I get visions now and then, and I've got an inkling to pass along to you. A warning, perhaps. Do not trust every face from your past. Some have control over things that would seek to use that to delay your actions to their advantage.
Understood, I think. I am not very good with your language, but I think I understand what you mean.
Be well, Island
You-
Flower.
And Yaima has this look of concern, trying to understand who in her past would be coming anywhere near where she's at. But she returns back to the group.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have a question
Mm-hmm.
before I leave her. I do ask about the mushrooms.
What do you want to know about them?
Everything came out of the ground just in beautifully. Is there any sort of element I need to be aware of perhaps using the mushrooms in certain elements of practice?
May I have your hand?
She offers her hand.
She takes her pinky finger, extends a small, sharp point, pricks your finger very gently. As a drop of vitae falls on the palm of her hand, a rose blooms, almost from soil that isn't there. She hands it to you and says, "Eat this flower and you will understand."
She eats the flower.
It's almost as if the palm of her hand and the soil that nourished this thing, it touches your blood in a way that opens your mind to different possibilities with your own blood sorcery. You see things more on a biological level than on a magic, or however Yahima has seen it in the past.
Mhm.
You see that the spores that the mushrooms were, the spores of that tree, they're an extension of her will, of disciplines like you've seen with people communing with animals. It's just opening a different door than the one you've used for so many years.
I
You gain
understand.
insight into the Lianan bloodline.
It is a very beautiful way of looking at spirituality and conjuring.
I am glad we could pass on our ways to you.
Yes, I must return, but I hope that you find peace with wherever you're at, and I hope to see you again soon on our journey.
And I you. Be well.
And yeah, I'm gonna like just keep kind of like gnawing at the prick. She actually kind of enjoyed that a little, and yeah, she goes back to the group.
Excellent. Before we head off on our next phase of this journey, would you like to take a 5 to 10 minute break
Yes, please.
for the bathroom, for bio breaks, for refills? This is Virtual HorrorCon 2021. Thank you for joining us. Dark Ages V5 will be back. Having a great time. I'm very thankful for all of my very interesting players who brought such awesome characters to life for us tonight. And we'll see where they go from here.
In the meantime,
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for Virtual Archon 2's Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages with me, your storyteller, Rick Wheeler, aka Oops All Sudite. With me tonight, we got Faye the Pagan, Ravnos, Marchosius, the lovely, well, geez, you're all lovely. What am I saying? We've got Ellie, we've got Cynthia, we got Faye, Mark is lovely, Ian's lovely,
Aw,
I'm just some
thanks.
guy. You know, it's all just love and blood here.
Love and blood.
This
It's
is
all just love and blood.
Vampire. And we're having a great old time playing Vikings in the year, 1066. Where we left off, my goodness. Oda, someone that Gru knew, came out of the tree, dropped some wisdom on everybody about what's been happening, what those signs' importance meant, and what they can do about it. Bjarni has been through quite a bit with his crew. A lot of your lands have been overtaken by a new religion. The ways of life of the Nordic people are now phasing out. People are accepting different ways, forgetting the old gods. Some of you think that you're the new gods. Others may think it's all just nature. Perhaps others have a more foreign view, but we're going to explore what to do about some of the revelations that have happened. The cutting down of Thor's oak, and how you've recently discovered that wood is not just symbolic as a religious piece, but it's ingrained with the vitae and life force of someone that Gro cared about very deeply. And now, as it rests in this chapel, in a castle to the south, being used by the very enemy that has caused much of the pain, Bjarni and those of his hold, it suffers the effects of true faith, like any kindred would, even though it is nature. It is so infused with the canine life force that it suffers pain, something that was used by your people for so long as a means of worship, as something sacred, now is powerless to stop what is happening around it. How does that make each of you feel?
Complicated.
Yes, very complicated. This replacement can't happen fast enough.
What are we meant to do about this?
We need.
Please, my Jarl.
Currently, I value your insight. Continue.
There is a red in the sky that falls towards a drop of blood, which we shall spill. And with any hope, that red drop of blood in the sky will rain down upon them, and we shall bring our wrath and deliver glory unto ourselves and destroy them.
That
is the only path that I can see.
That is something I would welcome. I think we know our path forward, but this new information gives me hope that the gods favor our approach.
We can take all precaution on our approach to make sure of that.
Grow. What say you?
I put down my sword a long time ago, but I do find it appropriate time to pick it back up.
Yes. May the wood, the sword, and the handle smile back at the wood that you have saved. How can we do this carefully? You know me.
We
You're
scout
gonna
ahead.
quickly and swiftly then.
Yes?
That is my way. If that's the way, then I will gladly go that way.
As-
Yaima,
Hmm? What did you want from me?
I would return the same question. Where should we approach in a way which would be beneficial towards your approach?
Oh, I would have to see through my beautiful friend here, and I could probably give a better insight as to where we should enter. But we must get closer first.
I can get us closer in a protective way.
I think that our best approach is to allow them to go ahead and then tell us when and where to breach.
Yes.
With any luck, I'll also make sure to stop any mode of retreat they might have.
I'm going to make all of them lose their mind before we kill them.
That sounds fun.
Yes. They will die with the pain of madness and the misunderstanding of where they're going for what they have done to Yggdrasil and to us.
Then let's go. Let's not waste any more time.
Let us go bring them the suffering they have brought our people. And I will push the boat back into the water and wait for them.
I'm jumping back into the boat and keeping an eye on the water.
I'm jumping in just the same.
Me as well.
Also,
Once they are all in, I will push the boat into the water, jump in like I did last time, and pick up oars.
You set off again. These boats, perfect for ocean or river.
And very swift.
Make your way to a massive lake, southern Germany, called Obersee. This castle, Burg Meersburg, is across from a large city called Konstanz, between two other cities called Dasendorf and Stettin. This castle was built some time ago, maybe around the same time Faye entered the ground. There are a number of people out and about at this time of night. Are you approaching by the lake itself or docking the boat and approaching by foot?
Neither. We are
Neither.
going to take the boat along the shore, well away from the eyes of their scouts, and I will turn to Fia and Yahima and just nod.
And Fia is going to take off her shawl and hand it to Bjarni and dive into the water. And due to size, I'm going to do 2 rouse checks for this. Pass on both. And I will go into the water and use metamorphosis to take the form of a giant squid.
And as that happens, Yaima basically drops back into form. Her eyes glow white, and the bird takes off, going overhead.
And Bjarni takes her shawl, slides it into his shirt to keep it safe, and simply sits down, holding his axe on his knees, and waits.
And I will approach as deep under the water as I can, and where they have boats along the shore, I'm going to reach up slowly and drop a tentacle over it and yank it down under the water, breaking it to each boat that I can.
And a number of the ships docked, burst, and are pulled down into the water. And as you are underneath, you see a number of crates that were on those boats break as you crush them as well. They're full of the dead. Corpses shipped in.
I'm going to attempt to gather all of the bodies and push them towards the shoreline in a large pile.
You do so easily, as you are the master of these waters, with tentacles grabbing bodies by the 2, by the 4 per each arm and leg, tossing and pushing them onto the shore. They begin to pile up. Many are in early stages of decay, maybe a week or so dead.
Did you push them towards the shoreline where we are waiting?
Yes.
So, as the corpses begin to float against the shore near us, I turn and look at Norfie and just give him a look. Again.
Seems to happen.
So my falcon is getting close in the area. What, anything specific she sees?
You see a number of guards walking around the center castle. Beyond the castle, more inland, is a fairly sizable town with shops. There's a number of people still walking about at night that look like they're just civilians. The castle itself does have a number of people with crossbows, pikemen at different gates and things.
Is there perhaps an entry on the backside for boat?
There is. So there's an entry on the back, and really there's only one other entry towards the front, where there's almost like a drawbridge going towards the town.
Mm-hmm.
Both are guarded with 2 guards on the outside and 1 or 2 stationed above with bows, crossbows, things like that.
Okay, so my falcon kind of returns, just making sure surveillance around the area knows what's going on. And comes back. Mayor, I noticed that there is a entrance that we could push the boat towards, and might be better to go in unnoticed that way versus coming through the town where it is heavily guarded with arrows.
Excellent. And I will dip my hand into the water in order to just swirl it around a little bit, create a current to get Via's attention.
And I do notice and come more towards the boat and reach up 1 tentacle and tap his hand with it.
And I will talk to her because I have feral whispers.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just tell her to pull the boat to where Yahima suggested. Slowly and quietly.
And I will come up under the boat just enough to slightly lift it so that the boat is resting more on me than on the water, so that it doesn't hardly disturb the water, since my body would make more of a disturbance. And just lightly float the boat over to where Yaima wants it to be.
And I'm not going to make you roll for it because you are a massive creature of the sea.
Yeah,
Plenty of strength and dexterity, and very quietly, you do what you need to do, and it works. You've likely done it many times, and no one's ever seen it coming yet.
And once the boat is docked, I'll change back in the water and grab onto Bjarni's hand to be lifted back up into the boat.
And I just set her down gently. Pull the shawl out, hand it back to her. And take a good look around. Is it dark? Or how
Until
dark
you
is
get-
it in here?
Until you get, there's a couple torches on the walls, sconces. If you stay within 20 feet of them, you're still pretty much under the cover of darkness.
As we move towards them, I'm going to take the torches down and extinguish them.
Okay.
And I am going to close my eyes for a moment, and when I reopen them, activate Eyes of the Beast.
And you see in perfect darkness.
And I'll continue putting torches out, guiding my Viking party deeper underneath this castle.
And Grow, you follow?
Yes, I was actually going to say I would also like to activate Eyes of the Beast and kind of be a second lookout if possible.
Of course. Why don't you give me, anyone can do this, wits and awareness to see what you find as you traverse this area.
Three successes.
Very good. 3 for Bjarni, 3 for Yaima. Oh, 2 for Yaima. Oh, Ellie with the 4.
I'm high out of my mind. It's okay.
Just had some shrooms, baby, or that was a rose. You don't know what was in that, you're right. For you who had the 2, there are a number of footfalls you hear down here. Light patrols. For those who had 3, you hear above you, there is a chapel in this castle. Sounds like there is almost like a midnight mass going on. And Fiad with 4 successes. You smelled the death on the air that you pushed to the shore, and the buzzing of flies from down a hallway.
Very wrong here.
I look up.
Does anyone have sensed the unseen?
Yes, I do. I would like to activate it, please.
Not far from you, there's a man standing and watching you.
Where in relation to us?
Behind you, 20 feet. He looks as though he's about 13 years old. His features are not pointy or jagged, but his skin is filled with pockmarks. like a condition.
What does his facial expression look like?
Curious. Hopeful.
I'm going to do this at him. And smile.
He mimics you.
I'm going to tap the top of my head.
It's the same.
And I'm going to bow.
And he does this.
I'm going to walk over to this small boy. Hello, boy.
Why are you here?
We come to deliver gifts.
That's bullshit. No way.
Not really. We're here to take gifts.
I know where the gifts are.
Where are those gifts, boy?
Depends on what you want to take. Good sir.
What is your name?
Jakobim,
Jakobim.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Neither am I.
I know. That's incredible.
Aren't we a pair, Jakobim? What is going on upstairs?
There is a king here. And things have changed in the last 8 months. He's not right. He doesn't see his people anymore. Not since the bishop came. I think he's like us.
Like us?
Like us. And the people, they're not... I don't know many things. I've been told you can give the blood to people and they live longer. But this is different. They have pieces of us. He finds us, this new man, and he cuts people like us up. And he puts them together on the people in the village. And he makes them like us, but they are alive. But they are like us.
That's very different, Jakobim.
It's very different.
It's too different from you and I.
Yes.
Quick question, storyteller. Jakobim. Is he's mortal?
No, he's a Nosferatu. You would not have noticed him without sensing scene.
Okay.
And as you look at him and you see his very bad skin condition, it's almost he's got scaly skin. He looks like a leper.
Jakobim, how long have you been here in this town?
3 years. And I hide. I have not made myself known to what was the prince. The prince was killed. It's only the bishop now.
Jakobim, I would like to destroy this bishop for you.
But then who would be
Us, Jakobim.
us?
Yes. You.
Not me.
I.
You, perhaps. Not Jakobim.
Jakobim, you like to hide too much.
I do. But there's a reason for that. You must be very careful that they don't find you.
Do you know any pathways? Because it's not just hiding in front, it's also hiding behind. A path.
Yes.
A passage.
There's a sacristy. It's the back part of the church where the priest gets ready and goes to speak. that may be the place to find the bishop before or after. He's dangerous. What is your name?
Norfi, son of Loki, a god like you.
I am not a god. I am a boy.
Yes, but you are a boy god. And Norfi is going to take something out of his pocket. It's a little small carving, a little small wood carving of Kara. Jakobin, this is my gift to you. This is Kara, my sister.
She's a god.
Yes, like you, just like a god.
I don't believe that I'm a god. But thank you for your carving of your sister, son of Loki.
You're welcome. And if I meet you again, I will make sure that we will honor you with the same. Now show us how to get through.
He points to you down a corridor that looked like a path less traveled. It's not lit up like the others. Someone walking quickly in the dark would have missed it. But it continues up a staircase to the back of the chapel, where the robes and the chalices, spare candles are held. Do you go?
I first tap on the Jarl. And I whisper where the boy is pointing towards and where it's going to lead us, and tell him that I'm going to go that way and you should do the same. Or perhaps if you have a different plan, we can cut them at both ends.
And I'm going to glance at Fia, Yama, and Grow, just to see if they have any intuition or insight in where they think we should go, because I did not smell the death.
I lean in and I think I've noticed that there were, from my wits and awareness roll, that there were 2 guards. Am I correct?
Yes.
And they are both mortal, suspiciously mortal.
They appear mortal.
Okay, great. There are 2 guards that are protecting the area. I could take care of one of them if you would like.
I'll just smile and I'll start walking forward quietly for my size.
Difficult.
Not really for him.
Big guy.
Would you like me to roll?
Yes, sir. Yahima, in your pocket, small red stone. Beats. A pulse. 4. You succeed.
I'm gonna pull out the stone.
It's every couple minutes. Bjarni, you're moving towards those guards.
Mm-hmm.
Guro and Fjadi are still in that hallway. You can hear the chants of the Latin Vulgate, the Mass, still happening.
I am going to use my metamorphosis again. I do not get hungrier, and I'm going to change into my white-tailed eagle. And I'm going to briefly land on Bjarni's shoulder, incline my head towards the castle, and take off.
And when she does that, my raven, which was still sitting on the boat, takes off and follows her.
Okay.
And then I am going to continue stalking forward to where Yahima pointed out the guards.
You point to the guards, but something's on your mind, Yahima.
Bjarni, wait.
This is something very odd. This bloodstone I created a long time ago. And it's starting to work again, and that is unusual. That doesn't happen often. I believe that if I am correct, Airfor is nearby. And if that is the case, the vision that the woman from the tree is correct, and it might be a dangerous sign that this is beating.
We shall remain cautious. I'll just kind of look you in the eyes for a moment, then nod and turn and keep going.
So I'm gonna follow my Jarl and put the bloodstone back in.
Mhm.
My Jarl, if you don't mind, may I take the first step here? May I protect you?
And I'll let her move ahead of me.
Okay.
As I'm flying over the castle, I'm trying to think of what exactly I want to look at. Oh, you sent me the map.
Mhm.
I want to try just gliding gently past the windows, and I realize this is probably an investigation roll, to see any life, people, whatever of note I can find through the windows. Just kind of doing casual looping around the building, and since I'm native to the area, they shouldn't think I'm weird.
Yeah, it's stained glass, but at the top there's these typically 3 circular pieces, as if they didn't know what else to put in the design, that are typically only one color. When you're looking through and you're seeing the rest of the stained glass, and it's a picture of a saint or perhaps an event in the religion's history, it's very difficult to peer through. But as an eagle with your vision so sharp, you can see through the upper parts that are not splintered into different things forming a picture. They're just colored pieces of glass, maybe the size of a basketball. What did you get for your investigation roll?
6.
Oh, that's
Critical.
incredible. Yeah, it's a packed house.
Live.
They appear to all be living people with someone facing the altar, as the Latin Mass this time was. However, you get more than the people. The inside of this chapel looks different than a lot of the other churches you have raided. There are icons everywhere, which is not standard for a Christian church. It's very Byzantine. You may have never seen anything like this because the schism between the Orthodox and the Catholic Church literally just happened that year. For something to be decorated in this way the very year that a schism happened would be like this place just became under new management, and overnight these things were shipped in, put up, and it's the first of its kind.
Seeing that, I'm going to call out to Bjarni's Raven real quick, just a quick and circle back around and land down behind Bjarni and change back and just grow onto his cloak real quick. Don't advance yet.
And I will reach out and put my hand on Yahima's shoulder.
It's full of people. Byzantine. This is brand new, and there is a lot of people in there. We need to be careful or we're walking into a slaughter.
I will gesture for Yahima to continue going, and I'll nod, and I will pull a smaller axe off of my belt. And just heft it.
All right. As he does this, I'm gonna look at one of the seemingly mortal
guards, and I'm just gonna kind of flick my hand and like call them towards me. And I'm going to use Theft of Vitae. So, question: Are they wearing armor?
It's light armor. It's basically several layers of interwoven cloth that makes it harder.
Okay, so if possible, because I get to target a major artery, and I want to make
Easily.
this look like this person's just going to convulse and die, I'm actually going to pull a major artery that's covered from the armor, so like the blood's just going to collect in the armor and like just make them drop.
Yeah, give me the roll for that.
Cool.
I can tell you what that is if you don't have it.
Ooh. This is a new one for me. This one's pretty cool. I like this.
It's resolve and blood sorcery. Oh wait, am I wrong?
Yeah, you're correct.
Wits and blood sorcery, I think. Yeah.
I have resolve.
Now let's go with that for fun.
Okay.
For- Come on, Cynthia.
It's a lot of dice.
Should have used wits then.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes.
That's incredible. This guy doesn't stand a chance. You pull so much vitae from him in a matter of seconds that he drops to the floor.
You look at the Jarl, like, in a way of, like, was that enough? You're muted.
Thank you. I just smile. And then, where is the other guard?
The other guard was looking more towards the balcony overlooking what used to be a fine fleet of ships.
I am going to stalk forward based on my earlier stealth roll and just embed the axe in the back of his neck.
It's unchallenged, doesn't know you're there. That guard is down.
And then I'm going to hold him upright with the axe that is now stuck in him.
And you lift him up off the ground, blade embedded into his body.
And I gently deposit him in a corner.
You're so kind. You deposit his body in a corner where he will not be found anytime soon. Fiadi, have you landed on Bjarni?
I'm still following him, thoroughly pleased with what he's just done.
As you should be.
And I'm going to continue. I'm going to take another look around, and I would like to make a wits and awareness roll to see if we have
I would also like to make. Oops, sorry. I would also like to make wits awareness for small vermin,
Okay.
like rats, snakes, etc.
Yeah, Grow, you feel something very familiar to you in that chapel. You can feel that wood. It almost resonates with the blood you once poured into it. And it feels awful. It feels like guilt. It feels like remorse.
Just to clarify, did Bjarni and Norfie go like separate directions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, I'm going the direction you pointed out.
up behind into
Sacristy?
the place where the boy pointed.
Okay. I thought it was separate, so I guess I'm advancing with the rest of them.
Okay. You get 2 successes, Bjarni, to see if there's anything else.
Yeah, just to see if we alerted anyone, if there's anything else around out of place.
Doesn't seem to be.
And I got 3 critical looking for small vermin.
There are always vermin in a castle like this. The floor in these types of places are filthy. In fact, they cover them with hay just to cover the smell of rodent feces. It's a way of life. Castles at this time were filthy.
So plenty of rodents.
Plenty.
Good. Good, good.
I would like to rouse check for unseen passage. As we're getting closer, I'd rather not be seen. All right.
All right. Hey,
Hey.
everything's coming up, Norfie.
So far.
You make your way to that sacristy. Those prayers in Latin. They're getting louder and familiar. And they stop. And you hear a familiar voice call out, Bjarni Ordenson, you come say your prayers.
I'm just going to turn and look at Fia for a second. And I'm going to stroll out. Alone.
You walk out into the well-lit church. 30 or 40 assembled in the pews, the marble floor. There's an altar, but it looks more like a trough filled with blood. And facing you instead of facing the congregation, because at this time, all the priests faced away from the people. You come walking from out back. Proud Viking warrior, axe in hand, and you see the face of Afor in priest's robes.
You look like my friend, but you are not my friend.
Your friend is gone. Biology is a funny thing. And when one of my order attacks another kindred, if they're of high blood, we induct them. But not the mutts.
I hurl the axe that I'm holding at his face. And I'm going to rouse to get a blood surge off before I do that.
I am
Which I
also
pass.
I'm also popping Animal Dominion to take control of all the rats in the castle.
Awesome. Grow.
Yes, I was actually about to ask. At this time, I would like to bite my finger and start applying Crimson Woad.
Awesome.
So do I need to make a roll for that?
Yes, you need to make a rouse check.
I
Ian
passed
gets
my
7
Animal
successes.
Dominion rouse checks.
Perfection. And you pass it too.
Oh, that's a lot of successes.
Ian, you win by a margin of 3.
So this
Eight critical to take control of all the rats in the castle.
All the rats in the castle stand upright, march to the beat of a new piper.
And I'll hold my command now. For now. I just need them under control.
The axe flies through the air, hitting Norfie. Sorry. Sorry, Norfie. Hitting
Well,
A4.
Rip.
Rip. Press F to pay respects for our dear friend Norfie. It does hit I4.
Okay, that's
The metal embedding into part of his face as he
instead of
pulls it out.
that was 2 extra.
Yes.
That's 5 superficial
Yes.
damage. Okay.
Let me mark that down. The congregation stands.
The second they stand, all rats come up and chew out the backs of their knees at their arteries.
You roll for the rat attack. Let's make that your.
For my Animal Dominion, they do any one command until it is fulfilled.
Awesome. Without looking at rat stats, let's give them like a dice pool of like 5.
Oh yeah, this is just chew until you're through the knee.
Gotcha.
Let me roll for them. Oh Jesus.
Oh, I got a crap roll there.
The double crits always confuse me math-wise.
It's okay. You win because I got like 2 successes.
Okay, well it was 8, so
So these are not normal people. Their cloaks drop and they look like Frankenstein. Every single one of them. And they're moving faster than a normal human should be, as if they all have celerity. But the rats are persistent and biting and gnawing. And it's keeping them busy, but it's not downing them like it would a normal number of people. It's like they're ghouls, but they're not kindred, but they're using disciplines, and it's bizarre. And pieces of their body are sewn onto them from other people.
and the rats are the command is for them to chew through the entire knee, so they will lose the bottom halves of their legs.
Yeah, they keep biting, and it's working. They are tied up effectively. Creatures.
Storyteller.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick correction. I did 7 superficial damage that is not halved.
Correct.
Continue, Norfie. Sorry.
It's okay. My question was more, what is the state of my old friend Ifor? What does he look like to me after
You're
getting
asking-
an axe in the face? I'm asking you, storyteller.
He looks just like your friend. Bleeding. Hurt.
Norfie is going to come out of unseen passage. And he's going to walk up to his friend. You are hurt. Are you okay?
Is Yaima anywhere near close to
Yes.
us? Great. Because she didn't get to Norfie with her warning, she immediately senses what's going on and is going to use Extinguish Vitae on him. Basically, gonna lift your hunger to start fighting AF4.
It wouldn't take much. I'm about 2 away.
Sorry, bud.
It's better than what I was going to do.
They're using Extinguish Vitae on A4?
No, on Norfie.
On Norfie?
On me.
Oh, God. So, yeah, he's a pretty
Jeez.
hungry guy.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to oppose that roll?
Well, I would be very concerned with what's going on in front of me, so it would probably catch me off guard. So I don't think I would even see it coming, would I?
No. Grow, you have activated your power
Yes.
of the Crimson Woad, and bark begins to form over your body and your hands, creating sharp points. There is a bizarre cross hanging above that trough-like altar. And it's not something that was designed or cut in any way. It is 2 sections of the Thunder Oak hanging above. And the wood itself is bleeding down into the trough. And it smells like you, and it smells like Adelaide, Oda, and Gunther. As if all the sacrifices you have made are food for the gathered. Yahima gets 4 successes. Norfie's beast explodes in hunger. My friend, you think. You're hurt. But that's the last thing you have of control of yourself. As the son of Loki, you must survive. There's one thing in front of you that can take the pain away, that could bring you back to control, Norfie. What do?
I take my friend's face. I take it. I take my friend's face. He's not okay, and I take his face.
You jump on him, bury your fangs in the already massive laceration on his face. He begins to change into his horrid form, but it's too late. The crustacean-like armor growing on his body is not quick enough to cover the laceration made by Bjarni, and your fangs pierce the lower part under his eye socket and just above, right through the bone. And you drink.
I chew and I suck as hard as I can. I don't want to just take his face. I want to take everything.
And your hunger decreases by 1, by 2. Bjarni, what are you doing?
I'm going to start walking toward them.
Yahima,
I'm in no rush.
this is going as planned.
I'm gonna sit there and babysit Norfie so make sure things don't get out of hand.
Yep. I walk up behind Northie while he's feeding, and I wait until I can tell, because I have done this many times.
Fyad, your rats. I've called in more rats. They're swarming on these men, these women, these things that are not men, that are not kindred. They're not Shlachta, as some would say. They're something that shouldn't be at all. Do they persist, your rats?
I am actually going to make the roll to change my command. Is my charisma and animal kin? Let's see here. I think they've done enough. Yeah, that's enough. That is 7 critical. Their new command is to chew through the necks entirely. Take off the heads by chewing through the necks.
It's easier than it looks. These are patchwork men, patchwork women, sewn together by vicissitude in modern medicine, begin to fall apart.
They're abominations, and thus they shall be taken apart.
Some use fleetness and run, smashing themselves into walls, breaking stone in the cathedral, breaking through wooden pews in a frenzy to try and get these things off of them. Others with strength, trying to pound desperately, rat after another. There are too many. You watch and witness as 40 of them become slowly decapitated. Small, chattering teeth tear through every ligament till they themselves go limp, as if a kindred would. Grow, the thunder oak above you. You can feel its pain. Those with the faith here no longer causing it turmoil, yet it's being bled, as if it has blood for the ages, has been giving up blood for years, regenerating this vitae somehow. What are you doing with this sacrilege?
I will look at the bleeding oak and just in anger look at everything that's happening. And let me make sure I'm understanding. So there's not, basically everybody's pretty much preoccupied at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. She's just going to watch it shake a little bit as she holds her sword. This isn't right. None of this is right.
Norfie, We're down to one hunger. Bjarni.
Having taken many lives in the same way that Norfi is, I'm familiar with what happens next. And as he kills A4, but before he can begin the next step, I pull him off. And I don't think he can stop me.
I try to stop him. I try not to let go.
Since
Choice.
it is a matter of strength. Yours versus his. Please give me strength in brawl roll.
Is this count as grappling?
Does.
Cool.
I have grappling as well.
Yes, you do. This is planned to be a one-shot. We have lots of specialties. That's a lot of successes.
That is a lot of fucking successes. I was impressed with my.
He's a strong boy.
I was impressed with my 6. I was about to smugly say
I
that.
want to specify. I have a 5 strength. I have a blood potency of 3. I rouse to increase it, and I have a brawl of 3 with a specialty in grappling.
Okay.
So yeah, and I rolled a crit.
And you are my Jarl.
I am for a
I
reason.
expect you to be stronger than me.
Sorry. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I just reach out one hand and I grab him by the back of the neck and his armor, and I pull him off of A4.
And I turn and I look at my Jarl deep into the eyes. Why, Jarl?
It isn't him. This does not deserve to meet Odin. And I set you down.
Perhaps, Jarl, you are not you. Have you ever thought about that?
Norfi, I think you're speaking out of turn.
Jarl Skona, I am speaking out of turn, but I had a job to do. This was something that we have planned, and now you are saving its life.
Oh no, I
whatever
let you kill it.
Is.
I let you kill it. You should be at 0 hunger now.
I wanted more.
Taking its soul. It doesn't deserve that.
Yes, but what about Norfi?
Norfi deserves better. This is abomination.
It is a god,
No.
like all of us and all of you. Whether we like or not, thus is still God's. And I deserve to eat a god today. And I was stopped.
Norfi, when you're quite done with your tantrum in front of your Jarl, we have more pressing matters.
Yes, Yaskona.
The body collapses to the ground. As A4 has lived through many ages, he turns slowly to embers and ash. His clothes, his notes, his pockets remain. Those in his assembly are dead. It is you, 4, 5, and the bleeding tree.
I extend a hand to Grow. To have her come over to where I'm standing. And
I do.
a gesture to the cross and then the trough full of blood. And what do we do about this?
Adelaide taught me many, but this is not right. There's Storyteller, would I remember anything possible that I'm forgetting?
You spend a long time in the ground. In torpor. Along with your thoughts. Echoing the wisdom of the things you were taught. And unlike Oda, you paid very close attention. That time was not for nothing. The things you had learned were, you walked out of that experience with a lot more knowledge than you walked in with. Contemplated on mysteries that many kindred wish they had the time to think about. She told you so many times that you were giving back to nature. She also taught you how to take it into yourself. If you give me a resolve and blood sorcery roll, you can absorb this wood. You can absorb this blood. Save it, give it back to the land. It's a cycle.
I am going to burn a willpower, just so you know.
Please do, for the love of God. Your God, not mine. My God is set.
That's 4 successes.
That's enough. The bleeding thunder oak disperses into red pollen. Red pollen finds its way out of every crack and crevice to the windows of the church. And as you leave this place, a bountiful array of plant life begins to grow where once was barren. And we will end our tale with that tonight, as we only have 5 minutes left, because I believe Devil's Luck Gaming is up next. Thank you all so much for playing the story with me, exploring your characters in this Viking Dark Ages setting. I freaking love every one of you guys' characters, and this was so great. Thank you for allowing me to do this.
This is so much fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so at a moment, everybody waited while we were on break, and it means a lot to us that you like hung out.
Yeah,
That's so
seriously.
nice. I also want to thank specifically, first of all, I want to thank Cynthia for coming back and playing with us, Ellie for stepping down from the GM chair, the ST chair, so that you can play with us, and Faye, I am really happy that you came, and holy shit, what a cool fucking character. This was a lot of fun, and boys, thank you for capping off Virtual HorrorCon with me.
100%.
Our pleasure.
Fantastic. Well, like Rick said, coming up right after us is Devil's Luck Gaming with part 3 of their Concerto and Nocturne. So don't go anywhere.
There are more vampires coming up.
And there's still more time to donate to Black Girls Code and Blind Cat Sanctuary. Thank you for joining us for Virtual HorrorCon 2021. We'll catch you next time, because we love Dark Ages and we'll always be back.
Goodbye.